Hi everyone. So now that we have the Sagebox libraries and project downloaded from GitHub, so here's what it looks like. Typically, MSVC is going to put it here for you when you first download it, but you can also get it by going to the start screen and then open a local folder, and it'll usually lead you to the last thing you did, so you'll see it here. Or you can also just open up a project or solution, and it really amounts to the same thing. But it puts it here for you. So let's go ahead and go to the examples, and then let's go ahead and do the sort algorithms. Just go ahead and load that. And so once it's loaded, we can go ahead and compile it, and then here are some of the source files. And so then we just run it, and it's pretty much that easy. And then we can go ahead and play with it a little bit, and then we can also do the about thing, and we can slow it down or speed it up. And then this is basically it. And then let me go ahead and load one more, and then show you a couple things. And so another one we might load is, in fact, can we go back? See, that directory's gone. I don't even know how to get back to it actually. So just open project or solution, and then we're still in the examples directory, and we can also load the calculator. And the same thing, we can compile it, but I want to show you one thing after this. And so here's this. It's a simple little calculator example. It's just meant to be an example. It's just about 100 lines of code and that sort of thing. But what we can do is we can also go to, and this is part of the projects in the templates for Sagebox, where you can set a Win64, or you can set a Windows debug. And so let's do a Win64 and a debug, which is a console mode program. So it started off as a Windows program, and now I'm going to recompile it. And now it's a Windows 64 console mode program. And as I showed in another video, the great thing about console mode programs is you can just press Control-C and get out of them. So it's just a lot easier sometimes to develop. So the line between a console mode program and a Windows program is very small, actually, with Sagebox. It's just the way it is. But you can do a canonical Windows program if you want. I'm not showing that here. I'm just showing different project types. But what if you want to start your own project and you don't want to use the examples? There's a couple ways to do it. There are project templates. And let me show what those project templates look like. And so if I go to create a new project, what I can do is it will come up with, at first you won't see them, but then you'll see them in the list. And so, actually, let me go and do this. And so here they are here. And then if you've opened up one before, they'll appear in the left-hand list. This is I just freshly downloaded all this stuff. So basically you have these two Sagebox. There's more, but I'm just going to show these two. There's these two Sagebox templates that you can use. And the green is really more for generic sort of stuff, where I'm going to go ahead. And you want to make sure that you put this in the Sagebox. For now, I'm going to go ahead and put it in the Sagebox. I'm going to put it under My Projects. And so you can do it in My Projects or Examples, as long as the directory structure is basically intact. I'll explain that in a minute. And so I can go ahead and do that, and then I'll just put, Rob's project. And what it will do is it will go ahead and create a sample project for me and give me a main where it has just a sample program. So let me compile that and then run it. And then you can see it's just a simple program, and then it has a console mode window. And then again, if I want to change the configuration, I can change it to just a Windows. I do Windows debug. You do Windows optimize, but it just has the debug information. And then when I run it, it's the same thing, just doesn't have the console mode window. And you might notice I didn't take out the printfs from the console mode. Since there's no console mode window, they don't really go anywhere. So there's two ways to get to these templates. One is to go ahead and just copy them into the template directory. Let me show you how to do that real quick. It's not as straightforward as it should be with Microsoft, but it's definitely doable and easy enough. So what you want to do is you can do this through the Explorer. File manager, and I'm going to go ahead and do it on the command line because it's just going to be that much easier, and for me to demonstrate anyway. And so what you want to do is you want to go into your users directory. For me it's Rob NE, and then what you want to do is you want to go into source. I'm sorry, not source. You want to go to documents, and then there'll be a Visual Visual Studio rather directory here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and Visual 2019, and then you'll see the templates. And then you'll see the project templates, and that's where you're going to, and then I'm sorry, one more, and then you're going to want to put them in the C++ directory. And so what you can do is go ahead and copy them from wherever the repository is. And again, you can do this through the Windows Explorer. I'm just doing it here because it's faster to show. and I can just do MSVC Project Templates, and I can do star.zip. So now when I want to start a project file, it'll come up with, it might show the recent one that I loaded, but and then I can enter Sagebox, and it'll show me, there's probably about 4 of them in there that I just copied, and here they all are. So I just copied them over, and then the one that I use most of the time, I'm going to do other videos on some of these other ones, but basically the ones that are console mode and console mode in Windows. I forgot the and on that one, but the console mode in Windows and this one are really the 2 that you want. And so what the blue one does, I just showed the green one. The blue one's for more advanced. I'm using the blue color for more advanced stuff, and it's just a clean template where what I can do is I can go ahead and see it's remembered where to put it, so I just have to do it one time. So Rob's project 2. And then what that does is it creates a project, but it's a clean version. It doesn't have any. This is the whole code. This is the whole thing. And if you run it, I mean, it's a console mode program in life when it first starts. So if I compile it and run it, it doesn't really do anything because there's nothing to do. And so then I can go ahead and say, so I can go ahead and do this, and then I'm going to want to do a wait for close. Otherwise, since it's a console mode program, it's just going to drop through. And really, I can just do a hello world too. Just to show that we're actually able to control the window. So that's just a clean version, with just nothing there, no comment or anything. So you just go ahead and start with it, and again, we have the same thing with the configuration manager, where we can do configuration manager where we can do the optimize and different project settings. So if you don't want to copy the zip files, another way to do it is that what you can do is you can open up a project. And just open up a project, and then go to Sagebox, and then go to Project Templates. And these are the same templates. And so you can just go ahead and open that, and it has all these different templates. And so you can just go ahead and just select this as the startup project, whichever one you want, and do the startup project. So you can just set a startup project, and it highlights it. And so for the same one I did with the console mode, I'll set that as a startup project. And what you can do is you can just go ahead and I'm not going to run it. It's the same thing as before. And what you can do is you can actually just clone it. And that way you don't have to worry about the zip files or copying the zip files or anything like that. You just say export template, make sure this is the one that you want. You can select any of these projects in the solution. And then when you move it, you can just name it anything you want. You can just call it Rob's template. And the great thing is you can make changes to it, to suit your directory structure, whatever you want, and then clone it. And you can do the same thing with the other ones. If you load the zip files, you can change those and export those. And then you don't need an icon image. I included the icon images. So if I go to the repo directory and the Sagebox directory, and I go to the MSVC project templates. I mean, if I want to, I can just go ahead and do that. It's no big deal. And then, so now I have Rob's template. And then now when I do a new project, you may have to search for it for the first time. It puts the recent ones here. Oh, it did already. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't seem to show it, but there it is right there. So now I have my template. And then I'll just call this Rob's, whatever, number 3, project number 3. I guess I can't use the pound sign. And then we can create it, and we have exactly the same thing. And so now we have exactly the same thing. This is the longer form version. And so that, you can see that was actually faster than copying the zip files, including loading the icon. So whichever way works best for you, but that's how you can start your own projects. And so the next thing I want to talk about is how do you modify an existing project? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start a project from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and start a console mode project. And so I just select console app and do that. And then I'll just call it console app program. Just putting it in Sagebox My Projects. Just go ahead and put it in repos. Just put it in a whole different directory, and then we'll just put it in Rob for now, and we'll create a new solution on that, and then it will just create a standard console mode program for me. And as you can see, Microsoft puts in a whole bunch of stuff too. So, and then we just have the same thing. And so let's say I'm writing a program like. Just something really big, and then we're going to go ahead and just print the Just going to print the number, and then we're just going to say, okay, return. Okay, so that's all it's going to do, right? And so let's say I decided I want to display something in a dialog box, or I want to have a button to stop. That's a good one right there. Let's just say, I want to use the Sagebox stuff. I want to put in a button to control it. I may or may not want to turn this into a Windows program, but I at least want to use the Sagebox tools to help me develop it in the first place. It's one of the reasons Sagebox was developed, for exactly this sort of situation. So what I want to do is I want to go into the project properties. Now, in general, it's better to do all configurations, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it for the one I'm doing now. It's easier to show. But if you want to do it so you have x64 and other things, or console mode versus Windows, you can do that too. You can just do all configurations for this. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and just do the active one. So what we're looking for is we're looking for additional include directories, where I can just go ahead and point to, let me go ahead and edit that, and then look for, go ahead and look for my include directories in Sagebox. So I can just go ahead and say include, and then I'm going to go ahead and select that. And that's pretty much all I need to do there. And then in the linker, what I want to do is to do additional library directories. I'm just going to go ahead and give it, go ahead and do the same thing I did before. And then, so yeah, we're going to go ahead and do Sagebox, and then we're going to do the library. And then, since it's just x32, I'm going to do that. Right after this, I will go ahead and show how to make this so that you can do an x32 and x64 at the same time. It's just a matter of you give it the little tags and for how you want it to look depending on your architecture. And so I'm just going to go ahead and add that. And then the only other thing I need to do here is where I do the input, I just need to add one more library, which is sagebox.lib, and that should do it. And so now I can just say include Sagebox. See, it's already got it. It already sees all that stuff in the directory, so I can just do that, and then I can do. So now I can do Sagebox, and then just to make sure we're working, we can just do Sagebox dot. I think it's called a quick button. I did. Quick button, press me, just to make sure we're working. So you can see we get a couple errors because there is something I forgot on that, because since this is kind of a graphics package, it is going to need a couple things on your project. It's not a big deal, you just have to add them into the input. And so the other things you want to add are MSIMG, MG32, and uxtheme.lib. I forgot to put the lib here, so we'll go ahead and do the .lib. And so see, now we've compiled it. So we had a pre-existing console mode program, and so now when we run it, we've got all the Sagebox stuff going. And what we can do here too is we can also put a name here so that we can say so that when we compile it and run it again, it has the name of my program in there. And so now we can do something functional with it. So we had this program, and we said that, hey, what we want to do is we want to just print something. And so let's just say every, number divisible by 1,000, we just put it out to the window. Oh, I said I wanted a quit button. So let me go ahead and do that. And so there's a thing you can do called a dev button. This just makes it really easy. There's other ways to do it. You can create a window and create a button, but you can do a dev button and just say quit. And so now what you can do is you can say if, actually I need a name for it, quit button. So we can go ahead and do that, and there's the quit button. And then just break. And so then what we can do in, let me compile. And so now I have this quit button that I have in the dev controls window, and I can just say quit. And so that pretty much wraps it up. I just wanted to show how you can, load the sample projects, create your own projects, and modify existing projects. And like I said, I think I'll probably do a video specifically on how to, adapt things to your console mode level program or your object module, and show really more about the stuff that you can do in there. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you around in other videos.